Hello everyone, my name is Spencer Smith and today we will be covering Chapter 22, Social Studies Pedagogy. Pedagogy, plain and simple, is the art, science, or profession of teaching. And one of my favorite quotes in this chapter is the very first sentence of the introduction. Educators and scholars in general, for that matter, love to use $10 words for the most fundamental of ideas. And pedagogy is one of these $10 words in that it sounds like a very daunting, intimidating word that might have some complex definition, where in reality it's plain and simple the art, science, or profession of teaching. What is pedagogy? Simply put, pedagogy is the method and practice of teaching, or the various strategies and ideas that teachers utilize in the classroom in order to teach the lesson and ensure as many students as possible retain the information. Now, how does it apply to social studies in particular? Social studies allows itself to be one of the most versatile subjects in terms of pedagogy. As we go through the various types of pedagogy and its alternatives, think to yourself how you would utilize the differing ideas in the classroom. Some key concepts to take note that we will be discussing throughout the presentation is effective pedagogy, the range of pedagogical alternatives, contemporary pedagogy, and the future of pedagogy. Effective pedagogy. Now that we know what it is, how do we implement it in the class? Ways of teaching pedagogy come in a few different schools of thought. The first being inquiry, where the teacher serves as a guide rather than an authoritarian figure. Students are encouraged to ask questions that do not have simple answers and analyze and question social issues that are both plaguing society today and in societies past. Some of the leaders of this school of thought have been Donald Oliver, Fred Newman, and James Shaver, whose work is very compelling if you feel like looking that up after the presentation. The next is storytelling. Social studies teaching began with storytellers and bards in the old days who would, entrance and entertain crowds while telling history and events that happened. And so the book lists 6 different ways of storytelling. And so those are facts and concepts embedded in stories are more memorable, especially long term. We remember the stories and the circumstances in which they were told. Stories humanize characters and events, whether past or present, give them dimensionality and make them real, not just names and stick figures in a book. Stories help students to relate to historical events and people and see them as more like themselves. The story gives teaching entertainment value, allowing the teacher to incorporate a suspense, adventure, and humor into teaching itself. Stories enrich students' vocabularies and improve their listening skills, and stories teach students that passion, excitement, and truth can be found in learning. The next one is vocabulary development and concept learning. This is one of the more traditional views of teaching social studies, where it comes in content area reading, textbooks, trade books, learning the material, taking notes, and studying, and could be seen as one of the more traditional and more used throughout social studies today. The next one is drama. So advocates really push for drama in the 60s and 70s. This involves role play, social drama, and simulations. There's 4 reasons why drama in particular could be extremely useful in the classroom, and that's dramatic approaches make social studies more interesting and exciting. Drama brings passion and emotion to the classroom, empathy for historical characters and for people of varying cultures. Drama provides opportunities for students to understand human interactions and multiple perspectives, and drama helps students better comprehend textbooks and other content area media. The last one that we're going to cover is questioning. So questioning, you guide instruction with thought-provoking questions. It's somewhat similar to inquiry, but you ask higher order thinking questions and you utilize the 5 W's, which is who, what, when, where, why, and SQ3R, which is study, question, read, recite, review. So when it comes to questioning, the book, if you'd like to go into the book, there are 7 different ways that questioning, really applies to the classroom, and they're very insightful. If you'd like to give that a look, it's on pages 430 to 431. Next thing that we're going to cover is the range of pedagogical alternatives. So advancements in technology and social studies reform and education reform in general have brought the alternatives pedagogy a long way, and this is going to serve as a way to look into that. So these pedagogical alternatives include teacher-centered or presentation pedagogy. This is the oldest one that's being used. It involves lecturing, storytelling, show and tell, reading and observation, the typical things that you would see in a high school classroom. The next one is Socratic. Students realize what they do and don't know, and act as critical thinking, probing questions. The next being inquiry, which we saw before. It's problem-based student development. Teachers guide them and usher in a sense of curiosity. The next one is service learning, which we're all used to. You work in the community, students design activities, and they participate in civic activities as well. Collaborative learning, students solve problems and develop projects in small groups. And then there's project-based or task-based pedagogy, in which students communicate what they're learning in a divisive form, presentations, portfolios, cultural journalism, stuff like that. To contemporary pedagogy, social studies teacher must reflect an awareness and understanding of multiple factors in the classroom, these factors being attention span of students, multiple levels, rates, and styles of learning, diversity, and the tools that students have. So a lot of different concepts can come into play in contemporary pedagogy. Unit approach that focuses on a particular culture, an integrated or inclusive history approach, a perspective approach, a balanced biographical approach, a balanced geographical approach, and a value-based approach. I will go further into this, but I am frankly way far over time. So the future of pedagogy, where do we go from here? That's something you can utilize in your discussion posts and really think of where we can take this and where we can go as far as teaching in the classroom goes.